Hari Om to all the Atmajyothis. Welcome to this session of Ashtavakra Jnana session. Let's start with the prayer. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Akhandamandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahe Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So, bowing down to our Sadguru Shri Prabhuji, let us start today's Jnana Jyoti session. The topics are all about the various types of yoga. The topics are all about the various types of yoga. Sorry, yeah. Are all about the various.
Have you logged in through two devices? So one year too.
I fixed it. Sorry. Yeah. So the topics are about the various types of yogas, Jnana yoga, Kriya yoga, Dhyana yoga, Karma yoga, and all the yogas, and also the various types of karmas themselves. So we shall start with the very first topic of what are the various types of karmas, starting with Anurao. If Sharavanan gives the go-ahead, she can start.
I will just show my hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
The time given is between 5 to 7 minutes. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Hari Om all. Today the topic I'll be talking is of types of karma. The 4 types of karma is Sanchita karma, Prarabdha karma, Kriyamana karma, and Agami karma. Sanchita karma means accumulated pools of karma for many, many, many births. And to give an analogy, like, when there's a person who's having a huge amount of money in his bank account, let's say thousands of crores, he has accumulated. That's something like a Sanchita karma, which has accumulated for many births. And some of the money in his account is like it has fixed deposits, which is about to mature. Say, let's say around 5 lakhs rupees or something. The person will take that 5 lakhs rupees and try to invest in a new business. Is something like we are coming with that 5 lakhs rupees with a new birth as a new life. That's something a Prarabdha karma, what it's say. In other words, we are getting that Prarabdha karma, and from that accumulated Sanchita karma, which is responsible for this present body. Prarabdha karma is ripe and matured, and the Prarabdha karma which has begun is like bearing fruit. It has a person has to go through in the life. One has to experience good, bad, sad, happiness, and everything in the life. What he is going through or one is going through is due to the Prarabdha karma. And during this lifetime, when the Prarabdha karma is going on, a person, when they do certain actions, like day-to-day actions, good or bad, that is called Kriyamana karma. The Kriyamana karma, again, can be said like when we do good and bad action, it gets accumulated for future as a Agami karma. When good and bad action is done, at the same time, what happens is we are not sure, certain karmas, what we do can be nullified with the prayashchitta. For example, I can say that when Balrama happened to kill a cow accidentally, he went on a pilgrimage to nullify that sin or something as a prayashchitta. Similarly, when we do our Kriyamana karma with a selfless service, with a selfless act, we can do it with the intention of offering it to the God. It becomes like a karma with selfless act with no agami karma accumulation. So how does that happen? How do we know we have to do the actions of day-to-day activity of a Kriyamana karma with the selfless service or selfless act? I would say with the help of a guru, when a guru guides you or takes you through the guidance of his teachings, we will get to know any action done in our day-to-day life. During Kriyamana karma, it becomes a selfless action. So there is no accumulation of agami karma, there is sanchita karma is done. And whatever we are going through in this present body, in the present, is because of our prarabdha karma, which we have to go, which is unavoidable, and we have to go through it. And every Kriyamana karma done, good or bad actions, is done with the intention of a selfless service. And this is only possible with the realization of Atmajnyan with the help of Guru. Like how our Guruji says, like, Nanu nanem buddhu nanalla, ideha manubuddhi nanalla, sachidananda atma, shiva nanu nanena. Ne, shivoham, shivoham, shivoham. I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the intellect, I'm pure consciousness, Shiva Swarupi. So once we get to know about that Atmajnyan, every action, what we do in our day-to-day activity becomes like selfless service. And we use this body as just as a instrument, as a nimitta bhava to do our actions. And this is like every action becomes a pure divine action of our Kriyamana karma, and our sanchita karma will vanish. So, Hari Om.
Thank you, Anu. So how much time was left?
Only 4.5 minutes.
Oh, Anu wanted to get over the karma very fast. All right. So self-evaluation, Anu?
Basically, I spoke to the point. I didn't elaborate on much of the points or something because I know there's a lot to speak, but I kind of spoke to the point, clarity, explained, and gave one example of Prashchitta karma. I didn't give any other story. And I used only Guruji's quote thing. And apart from that, I didn't use any other Sanskrit quotes or anything as such. Yeah. I got the thing, looks like, yeah. Thank you. Simplicity, crisp, yeah. Rest all, I'm sure the Vasudevji have to evaluate me on that.
So I have a question for you.
Sure.
Where does Purushartha figure in all this? Do we have a choice in, is there some free will we can execute to get over little of these karmas?
Is there a free will? I don't think there's a free will when we come with certain this is with my limited knowledge I'm speaking. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Because when we come with prarabdha karma, what my understanding is, we have to do whatever we are supposed to do with go through that. But we have a choice when something comes like good or bad action, when we are executing our day-to-day, we have a choice to make the decision whether this is right or wrong in our day-to-day activities. That's my understanding. We can use our viveka and discrimination, whether this is good to do or not good to do. That's what I think so.
No, that's fine. But how is it connected to prarabdha? I mean, you're faced with a situation with, so there you can exercise the choice, you're saying. Good
choice, yeah. Yeah. Because, like, for instance, Ramakrishna or Ramana Maharishi, even being a jnani, they went through the body cancer thing. That was because of their prarabdha karma, and they did not attach or did not feel. But from the human mind, when the people will see, oh, the jnani is also going through that. But when they or any human being does any action, they have a choice, if I do this, is it right? If I do this, is it wrong? We can make a choice with our intellect using, that's what I believe, but what cannot be controlled because of our prarabdha karma cannot be controlled.
Okay.
If I'm wrong, you can correct me. At least I learned something.
No. What I wanted to convey was the Purushartha, the little free will that we have. Prabhuji gives a very nice. Can I expand on that, Vani?
Sure.
Yeah. So Prabhuji says,
I think it's required.
Huh?
It's required. Anta.
If required, yeah, I think so.
No, I said it
Because-
is required. It is
Okay.
required. Anta.
It is. So when a cow, you think of a cow which is tied to a pole, okay, and it has a length of rope. And
Mhm.
its prarabdha is it cannot get out of the circumference. At the perimeter, it is limited by the radius of the rope. But within the radius, it has a choice. It can either
Yes.
gaze, or it can sleep, or it can frolic, or it can, chat with other cows, whatever it is. So that much free will has been given to us. So given the prarabdha, suppose I'm condemned to a life in jail, God forbid. What I do inside the jail is my choice. Whether I
Yes.
cry, whether I
Yes.
do some sadhana, whether I elevate myself, whatever. So
Right.
that is what is the Purushartha part of this prarabdha.
Yeah, that's there. That can be out of our choice, out of our thinking, we can do what to make it better.
Yes.
Yeah. Again, that has to come with the guidance and with that satsang kind of activity. Yeah,
Yes.
it doesn't come, even if you're in jail, if that environment is still bad, you will do what you're doing with other group of people. If you have a good person with you, you will still walk on that good path. All right, thank you. Good to know that.
Thank you. So over to Vani and Vasuji.
Nice, Anu, very nicely put all the types of karma, Sanchita, Agami, Prarabdha, and the analogy with the bank accounts,
Yes.
CFT and all that. So I think that was good. A few more examples might have helped in both giving clarity as well as making up time. That definitely would have helped. Where we have to be clear about in the content is, I think I heard you mention that Prayaschitta we can nullify,
Sanchita will vanish.
will nullify the karma, but yeah. So there I think we have to do a little deeper study. Can karma be negated by an opposite? Can one karma be negated by an opposite action? Normally, no, unless there is. See, I can't. Karma is different from law. So if I have to ask a question, how is the law of karma different from the law of the land or law of justice? Are they the same? So with a punishment, the justice can be meted. So can the same be applied to law of karma? So typically, in terms of clarity of the model, unless one experiences the karma in a way that he or she does not generate further karma through his present action, the existing prarabdha will not be nullified. That is why punarjanma keeps coming again and again.
Yeah.
Okay, so that one, and just on the R counter, I think quite a few times and came. So you might want to watch that, but otherwise the smile, the delivery was excellent. These are few things that I would want to share with you.
The delivery was good, confidence was good, clarity was good, but a little emphasis can be laid on karma is a result of action, and action can be done with physical body, performed with the physical body, mind, and intellect.
Mm. Good point.
Feeling, thinking, everything is an action. Intention is an action. Attitude is an action.
Right.
So that also can be brought out, because otherwise normally people tend to think it is only physical action and physical effect. So that part I think is also important. And the way karma has a two-pronged approach. One, karma manifests itself in the outer world through situations, relationships, while it manifests from inside in the form of vasanas, likes and dislikes, propensities, talents. It can be good also. Prarabdha doesn't always mean bad, no? Your skills from the past life will come to this life. Your learning from past life will come to this life. So often prarabdha is used in the sense of negative context only. Even to walk on the spiritual path, the spiritual vasanas from last lifetime, some previous lifetimes would be helping us.
True.
So good circumstances, bad circumstances outside, good vasanas, bad vasanas inside. So that also helps to give a better picture. And like Purnimaji said, Purushartha.
Thank you. I can relate that now. Yeah, a lot more.
Okay. So moving on to the next speaker, it is Shobhana. Shobhana ji. Yes. And she is going to talk on Karma Yoga. Right. Sharavanan, if you're free.
Hari Om. Today's my topic is a continuation of the discussion on karma. Karma Yoga. It is selfless action with benefits attached, which does good to people. That is called Karma Yoga. An action which is beneficial to people around is Karma Yoga. And Sarve Karma Vasamayam. That is, everything all around us, including us, is karma. It is a result of karma. The cycle of karma is such that it goes on and on, birth to death, again birth and death. Like Punarapi Jaranam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani, Jatare Shayanam. Shankaracharya has given this beautiful lyrical poem to all of us, which explains it. So, while the cycle is going on, if we get stuck in the same cycle, there's nothing else to do. How do we get out of this is the question. It is through Karma Yoga that we can think of getting it out. How does that happen? The way we speak, the way we do things, everything accumulates karma. The karma can be good or bad. Most of the time, what happens is we take it as a suffering. There is happiness, there is suffering, but somehow we attribute most of our life to the suffering. We remember suffering more instead of the good things. So we remember the past and we keep on thinking about it and accumulating more and more of them. Then we think about future. What are we going to do? If suppose I'm cooking something, I will think about people who will have the food and think, what if I don't make it well? What if they don't like it? But we don't think Now I am cooking. Let me think about the way to cook properly. Put the salt properly or put the vegetables properly and cook it in a nice way, keeping the heat in view, in mind, and then making the food stuff in a proper way. That doesn't happen. Why? Why is it happening like this? We are always getting stuck there. Never live in the present moment. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya karma krutta. Karyate ya vashaha karma sarva prakriti rajair gunaihi. Whatever we do, karma cannot be removed because of the trigunas, tamasic, rajasic, and sattvic. So what's happening again and again? We are getting stuck in these trigunas because of the way we look at things. Now, how do we get out of it? As I said, through karma yoga. Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, we need to follow the Vedantic discipline and live in the dharma and do karma without any expectations. So, how do we go about getting out of this karma and go on with our karma yoga? First thing is, we can think of doing Panchamahayagnas. As we all know, the Panchamahayagnas are Deva Yajna, Pitru Yajna, Bhuta Yajna, Manushya Yajna, and Rishi Yajna. Apart from this, I don't need to explain these Mahayagnas, I think. So, after these Panchamahayagnas, we have Antaryajna and Bahiryajna also. What happens here while doing this? Our Shed Sampatti improves. What are the Shed Sampattis? I think I'm not able to recollect. Anyway, Shed Sampatti, what happens is, as we go on doing this, participating in this Mahayagnas without expecting any result, that is with Samarpana Bhava, that is everything is Krishna Arpana. Whatever we do, we are only Sakshi Bhavadinda Madidre. The Karma Yoga starts happening and basically the head, heart, and hands coordination gets established, and then we start living in the present. We stop thinking about the past and the future and go about doing things in the present moment. Therefore, following the 5 aspects of the karma, that is karma yoga, samatva, swadharma, samarpana, asanga, and prasada. Prasada is grace. So, as we go along, practicing all these things and Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasa, and start living in the present moment, by and by, as we go ahead, our Karana Guru comes in. And that's when he leads us, takes us by hand and leads us towards Jnana. That's when our realization of Satchidananda happens and we realize that we are the existence. That's how the Karma Yoga helps us in realizing the God or existence and what we are. Sarvam Anandamayam. Right.
Thank you, Shobana. Very nice. Do you want to do your self-evaluation? Unmute.
What happened was suddenly I felt very low. I have the sugar problem. So the mouth went dry. I think there was some kind of anxiety that developed suddenly. And it happened like that. And I forgot the Shat Sampatti. And giving a few examples of Arjuna, the bow and arrow, and the what is that? Looking at the eye of the fish and the eye of the bird. So I wanted to quote these examples. I forgot totally. Then I don't know about the time management, and a little bit of talk structure went here and there. Some quotes were there, and I had to refer to the points a bit in between because the shlokas I'm not thorough. Then voice modulation, and when I'm looking at the script, I won't be able to have an eye coordination. Other things, Vaniji, something happened to my throat. It went dry.
Questions? Can you tilt your system towards yourself?
Yes. That's nice.
This was a major thing that was not okay. That's all. Other than that, everything was okay.
Yeah, we couldn't.
Actually, this is a new computer, so I'm not yet used to it.
No problem. We couldn't feel your throat going dry. Anyway, you relax.
Yeah, let's have the question. Have some water.
Get some water to drink.
Anyone can ask question because Satya ji is not here.
I'll just come back.
What was the time taken, Shravananji, sorry?
8 minutes.
8
minutes.
Okay.
Just about 8 minutes.
So
Anyone?
Short up, is it? I thought it is less.
No, I think 8 is what we were targeting, 6 to 8 minutes. Yeah, just about.
Thank you.
Anyone can ask a question because Satyavati ji is not here.
If karma yoga is not to care for results, then how do we engage in our profession? How do we apply karma yoga in our profession is probably another way of thinking.
Okay. Sir, I'm a counselor. I work in a college. So every time a client comes to me, all this jnana through grace of Guruji, I'm able to reach out to them in a much better way. And all the jnana that is probably given to me through Guruji, I'm able to actually pass it on. And some of them have come back and they're very happy with it. So they are able to apply in their day-to-day life, whatever as clients, as my colleagues also, they are very happy with whatever is the progress. So in my own profession, I am able to do this and be in the present moment. Like many times while counseling, there is a chance of transference taking place. Like when I empathize with them, I can carry their problems with myself into my own thought process and get disturbed through it. But through whatever the classes and whatever we are receiving from Gurujis and whatever level I am able to control that and live in that present moment. And that practice is happening in day-to-day life also. Though it goes up and down many a times, but I'm able to come back to that. So that's what I think is my goal, to live in the present moment and leave everything without thinking of any result.
Thank
In
you.
my benefit.
Very nice.
Selfish.
Yeah, very nice. I think the way you apply it on yourself. But I would also like to ask and provoke this question that since you are a counselor, if a student comes to you and says he's concerned about the results of his exam, would you advise Karma Yoga, don't be bothered about the result, just relax?
No, definitely no. Not in that way. Definitely no. But it will be there at the back of the mind when I'm talking to him and give him the proper advice and not say karma is this and all that. No, it will never go well with the client. No. It has to be a little more practical and the way they will understand. Maybe a little bit of mindfulness and, some kind of pranic breathing exercises, those kind of things I will advocate to bring down the anxiety.
Thank you, Hari Om.
So you have actually done a very authentic evaluation of your own talk. I would not add anything to that, except that the very fact that you're aware of where all the missteps happened. It went off course here, and you did this and you did not do that. You were looking at the script, therefore you could not look at the camera, etc. So that awareness is your greatest friend. You're completely aware of whatever you did and whatever you didn't do. So I think that itself is a great step which many cannot take. And that will stand you in good stead, and we look forward to wonderful talks from you in the further sessions also.
So well said, Vaniji. So next I invite Yashmita to speak on Jnana Yoga.
Hari Om, everyone.
Your cue, yes.
Yeah. Today the session is about yoga. So what is yoga? Yoga means connection, like binding together something which should always be together. So that is what yoga is. So now we already heard about karma yoga. So how we are connecting through the service. So if I remember the story which Guruji always says, it's the analogy of 3 children. When a child is born, it's not just one, but it's 3. One is the biological child, which is through the cells of the mother and the father, and the other is the divine child. And the third is the societal child, which is our identities and the roles we take over as we grow. So these 3 children are how we operate. But like we saw what Purnima ji told in the last session, that Amritasya Putraha, you are the divine child. So this is the truth that is told in our Vedas. But in my day-to-day experience, if I have to see if this is agreeing, so it's a totally no, I'm not experiencing that I'm a divine child in my daily life. So there is a total disalignment, or not, there's no alignment with what the truth that we are hearing to what is our day-to-day experiences. So with this, we can see how the yoga can happen. Like, as ma'am told in the karma yoga, like we are putting forward our service. I can say like we are putting our external instrument, or through our action, we are connecting with the divine. So basically we are having that union with the divine through the action or our external instrument. What is Jnana Yoga? I can say it is connecting our Antakarana, that is the inner instrument, with the divine. So this connection is what is Jnana Yoga. Like in the Guru Parampara, they have given like it is called a Prasthana Traya, the three paths of getting this knowledge of connecting with the divine. That the first one is the Shruti Prasthana, which has come directly from our rishis. They say a rishi is not human, so it is the truth which apaurusheya, so that is the word that they've used, which is from the rishis and not from the human mind, so which is beyond the human mind. And the next is the Nyaya Prasthana, which is the Brahma Sutras, and the third is the Bhagavad Gita, or the Smriti Prasthana. So these are the three pathways which are given for us to gain the knowledge and connect with the divine. Now, if anybody encounters the knowledge at once, like suppose we read a line or we read a quote, if we don't have the maturity, we don't understand the depth of it or what it really means. So if any person, if the seeker is not mature enough, then even if he gets the knowledge, it will not blossom, or he doesn't get the fruit of it. So as ma'am told, it like it is through the through our karma yoga or the bhakti yoga, when all this sukarma phala we encounter a guru. Like guru comes into our life, the Ishvara comes in the form of a guru, and he paves the path for us to move forward in the Gnana Marga. So the core of the Gnana Marga is at the feet of the guru, which is the Viveka and Vairagya, which we have to hold on to move further in this path. Once Viveka, that is the Atma and Atma Viveka. So that is the analytical path. As we all know, Jnana Yoga is an analytical path. So Viveka gives that discrimination to identify what is this, what is not me, and distinguish that. And Vairagya helps us to move forward, carry forward what is needed in this path. So once the Viveka Vairagya is established, and we also, with the help of the other yogas, that is the Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, we, because Jnana permeates every other aspects of life, so it permeates the other yogas as well. With this knowledge, we also develop the Shat Sampatti. So what is the use of Jnana? Like we know, like in the story, we saw that my experience is more towards the biological child or the societal child. So the identification is outward, like all my experiences are outward. But how can this be encountered? It is again like I have identification or thoughts which are outside. So we can counter that with only another thought. That is why the Jnana Marga tells us that you are the divine child. So it says Brahmakara Vritti. So when we know, when we contemplate on the Brahmakara Vritti through Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, when this thought is established in us, the other identification also drops. So this is through the process of Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. This process has to continue again and again until this the thought, the identification with the body, mind, intellect, or the society child has to drop, that we renunciate that thought with the help of the Brahmakara Vritti, or with the identification that I am, or recognizing that I am the divine child. So when this process happens, that is when the union or the Jnana Marga or the Phala is achieved, that we are one with the divine. And the Nididhyasa process, like we all know that Jnana can be conscious sometimes. So it could be only at our level, but this Jnana through the Nididhyasana process has to go to the subconscious. Like there has to be a complete union even in our thought process, in all the states of mind, and also in our actions. Once the Jnana is clear and established, it becomes in our day-to-day activities. This becomes a living truth. Like what we saw, we had heard the truth from the Vedas. When we recognize and be sthita in that truth, it becomes a living truth for us. That's it. Hari Om.
Thank you, Ashmita. Kanti, do you have any questions for her?
Yes, Purnimaji. Yashmita, it was a very good talk. One question I just want to ask you is, you said that we will have to identify with maybe the divine child. That is what you said, right? So we shouldn't be going as a child. We will have that three, societal and all those three. But say if the people following the Jnana Marga, can they or maybe I would put it in another way. A Dvaiti. Hello.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Okay. A Dvaiti like Tyagaraja or Purandaradasa, they followed Bhakti Marga. They did not follow the Jnana Marga. So how is it that without following Jnana Marga, did they achieve the self-realization or did they achieve mukti?
Just to answer that, Kantiji, I don't have a background of that, but maybe how, like what the example is, we are connecting to the divine, like we are connecting through the karma yoga, or we can connecting through the bhakti or the path of love. So the connection, we are in the bhakti marga, the connection is that there is an aradhya, there is a supreme lord, and we are the connection is that there is only one supreme lord. That's it. Like in the bhakti marga, like you surrender on to him. I am not there, just the Lord is there. So I think that also leads to mukti, because you're surrendering your small self to the supreme.
So formless reality is what we see in Jnana Marga, but with Bhakti Marga, we see the, as you said, the divine child or the external form is seen there. So maybe what I don't know whether it is correct or wrong. What I felt is whoever follows the Bhakti Marga, Bhakti Yoga, they follow. At the end of it, Jnana Marga has to be followed, and that will be followed to have the moksha. I hope maybe the elders here will let me know if I'm right. And one more question is that can anybody who is not into maybe Karma Yoga or Bhakti Yoga, can he directly start off with Jnana Yoga?
Yeah, like Guruji always says that this lifetime is not just this. So it has from time immemorial. It's not in the time frame that we are seeing. So we don't know if the person has already done his practice or the Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga in the previous lives and continued here. So if the practice, if the maturity is already there, he can directly understand and move into Jnana.
Yes, thank you for it.
Thank you, Kantiji. Yeah, self-evaluation. The talk was very last minute preparation, so the structure was very basic, and examples like I used Guruji's stories and anecdotes itself. And yeah, there were not too many examples and life examples. There could have been much more. And time management, yes, it was within the time. Yeah, and points, I think I was referring a bit. Yeah, it could have been much more better.
So if your feeling it could have been better, I felt it was superb. So some of the highlights of Prasthanatraya and the very definition of Jnana Yoga, the yoga part, or which essentially means union of two things, using Jnana as an implement, as a tool, that was brought out very well. And I think you kind of covered 360 degrees in the talk about Jnana Marga. So from Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, you touched upon Jnana Yoga, and then using the Prasthanatrayas as an example, and the very definition that you, through analysis and logic, you are able to connect to the divine. There was a clarity in the definition of the Jnana Yoga part. So that was very nice, and it came out very well. And you managed the time also very well. I have nothing to add to your point, to your talk as something that was missing. I think I couldn't find anything that could be added to that. If you have anything, you can.
I think it was a very good talk. Maybe structure, like you said, could have been a little more orderly or organized, but you brought in all the points and all the aspects. The only thing is yoga, it is only an apparent disunion.
Yeah.
Right now, it is always there. It's always in a state of union. There is no real schism, or there are no real two entities. So in the end, you realize that there never were two.
Yeah.
There was always one. So that could have been a little emphasized.
Okay.
That is from the Jnana Yoga point of view. It is a Tattvamasi. You are always that. But we recognize it only at that certain point of time. And that we call as yoga.
Yeah.
That one thing I felt could have been emphasized, because you brought in everything otherwise.
Yeah.
And questions you answered well. The first question, maybe you could have brought in Chitta Shuddhi part and Saguna Nirguna Brahman.
Okay.
Saguna realization, Nirguna realization. And who are we to hold up the yardstick to? No, somebody else. Yardstick is for each one of us to look at ourselves.
Right.
If at all. There also delusion can creep in. That's why Sadhguru only can finally say.
Yeah.
So that yardstick is not there for us to measure any sage or saint or anybody else.
The other part is, of course, we cannot evaluate based on the path or the thing that is followed. And just as a matter of trying to respond to such questions, karma, bhakti, jnana, kriya cannot be, there is no separate wall like that. They are all interwoven. For example, Prabhuji himself says, the same japa or the same bhajan, if we do it with jnana, it becomes jnana yoga. That I am appealing to the self. The starting point is important. So really there is no distinction based on, we can't evaluate based on external behavior or action. Who is a Dvaiti, not a Jnani, or is a Jnani, not a Dvaiti, Bhakta? Very difficult for us to say, an onlooker to say.
Yeah.
Prabhuji gives a very nice example. To a Jnani, other Jnanis are not there. Ajnani is nobody is an Ajnani. So he will not recognize any Ajnani. And how can a Ajnani evaluate Ajnani? Only in terms of the body or external appearances and actions, which is all false. So best is to follow, not to look at that. So such questions will come. So with that understanding, if we just are able to respond, saying that all these yogas are there, the distinctions are there only for creating an understanding. They are not separate. The 4 yogas are not separate. 4 or 5, any number of yogas, they are interwoven. Like the 5 sheets are not, clear 5 sheets. Everything is interwoven. That is what I would probably like to respond in terms of that
And
question.
Kantiji's thing that finally it all comes to Jnana Yoga is also what something Prabhuji has said quite a few times. It's a natural transition to come to Jnana Yoga. The second answer was super.
Yeah, thank you.
Overall, very, very good
Yes.
talk and answers.
Thank you, Aniji.
Very nice. So just on add-on information, just today a talk of Prabhuji has been uploaded. It's about how will an enlightened master recognize another. Maybe we'll get some insights on this question. We listen to that talk. All right. The next speaker is Pratibha, and she's going to speak on Bhakti Yoga. Treat coming up.
Hello. Oh, okay. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, we can hear.
Okay. There was a noise here, so I was trying to stop the noise. The thing is, today's topic is about noise. Sorry, bhakti. Now, why was I confused with noise and bhakti? There is something here I wanted to talk. So when this noise, outside noise, some children are talking and disturbing with all the videos and sound. I was so disturbed I couldn't start the talk. You couldn't hear, and there was a huge gap. So now what I'm trying to talk about is the mind's noise that everyone, I mean most of them are suffering. That's how this bhakti comes in picture. Mind's noise is such a disturbance in the mind that we are unable. I can't think of anything else, and I'm stuck with that. So I remember once Guruji said this. When I was working in corporate world, there was a job. My job was to do that noise reduction in the system. So he did that, and while doing that, he found out that if a system here in the physical form, a noise reduction has to be happening. So I think in my mind also some noise reduction is a necessity. How to reduce the mind's noise was his first question. First quest to start with. So who is holding the cup of the tea, and who is drinking, and who made the coffee, something like this. So noise reduction was the basic of all. So why is this commotion disturbance so important? Why? How to deal with this? So Guruji says, and in Bhakti Yoga of Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna himself, Ishvara himself says how to reduce noise. How is that possible? So the first thing what Sri Krishna says is, I as the self am already the nature of love. So but if I don't know that, I'll be expecting love in fragments from outside the world. In relationships, that person has to love me. That person has to treat me well. He has to like me. He must gift me, take me, smile at me, don't fight. Or in relationships. And next is the objects. Objects in the sense I will start trying to accumulate. If something of this is not happening, I'll start in the other way. The mind starts in the other way. That is harishad varga, kama krodha mada matsara moha lobha. All this comes into the disturbance of the mind. So when this how can I deal with this? So Shri Krishna says bhakti, devotion. What is that devotion? Devotion here means, bhakti means love for the higher, love and respect for the higher. Shri Krishna says, if you put all first steps of bhakti, what he talks is, start with accepting the result as it comes, as prasada buddhi. take it as prasada from all the results of your action. Take it as prasada. Okay, it has been given from Lord, and you keep your mind a little bit calmer. Okay. Next, he says the same thing starts with karma yoga, and Shobhana ji has explained karma yoga, how kaya vacha manasa buddhya, if you put all of your actions into offer to the Lord, then it becomes karma yoga. And sattvic karma and doing selfless services, and this keeps on into another step called as Saguna Upasana or Saguna Bhakti. When we start doing that, we'll get to know that, okay, I am, I choose one Ishta Devata for myself, and then it can be Rama, Krishna, Shiva, Shakti, Ganesha, um, Sai Baba, or some. And we start getting those qualities of Rama, Krishna, Rama as Dharma, Krishna as Jnana, like this. Shiva as, um, peace, like that. So the thing is, when this is still a separation is there. Jiva is separate from Ishvara, and this Jagat is also separate. Whatever I'm doing action in the Jagat, I'm offering it to Ishvara. That's how. Ishvara is like highest, and my Ishtadevata is Supreme Lord. Everything is fine, but still there is a separation. Then comes Guru's grace. How? Ishvara Gurur Atmeti. Okay, then Ishvara comes in the form of Guru and tries to say how the bhakti the love that I show to God can come into picture in a better way and improvise on that. How to transcend this, Jiva Jagat Ishvara into the higher level. So when Guru comes and says, he starts, I have already done the Karma Yoga a little bit and some service, Yagna, Japa, all of this, then the mind comes into a little bit clarity. Mind comes, some purification of the heart has been done. So next question comes like, I start listening to Guru easily because the mind is not cluttered here so much. So after listening to Guru, then comes, intellectual clarity. When intellectual clarity comes, heart is clear, purified. Then what happens? Then the real Jnana starts sprouting, and that is called as Nano Nanembudu Nanala. I am pure consciousness. This happens by universal love. It starts with universal love. Jagat is itself Ishvara. All this time, Jiva Jagat Ishvara was different. After then, Jiva Jagat Ishvara is there. So next comes as Jagat and Ishvara are one and the same. I'm still separate. Jiva is separate. Now comes Jiva Jagat Ishvara are one and the same. I am of the self of love, self-love. That is called as Bhakti Yoga to the Para Bhakti or Nirguna Bhakti. Saguna Bhakti turn to commotion, then Karma Yoga, then Saguna Bhakti, and then Para Bhakti. Para Bhakti is the highest way of Bhakti. Love towards self. I love myself. Usually in commotion also I'll be loving myself, but I'll not know that I am of the nature of pure consciousness. Now at the end, on Parabhakti, I know I am of the nature of mind. I'm of the nature of consciousness, pure love, but I'm not this body-mind complex. Ahamkara, mamakara is lost. So this is what is bhakti. Thank you.
Wow, so nice. Shailashri, any questions for Pratibha?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I wanted to ask is that among all these yogas, which marga, karma yoga or bhakti yoga or jnana yoga, which comes the first?
See, what I started with is commotion. Like when the mind is so agitated, it's like, you have a full glass of water already. It's so horribly like a dusty or something like that. How is my mind so cluttered? How can I listen to something? Okay, Jnana Yoga, or when Guru comes, Shravana, Manana, Nidhyasa is what is important. For that, Shravana is important. For Shravana, it has to go inside. How will it go when my mind is already so cluttered? So, for that, the purification of the heart is very, very important. For the purification of the heart, attach to the higher. Attach to the higher, that is yoga. Attach to the higher with bhakti, with love. See, even for learning science or math or anything, if I don't love that subject, it is so difficult for me to understand and use that. Here, it's my own self. I already know I am self of, I'm that love, but something missing. That is because I am attached with the body mind complex. So first thing I really feel is bhakti. Surrender to God. Surrender to God, then slowly, oh, okay, God, you're the only one who is there. Means, okay, Ishvara, Guru, or Atmeti, Guru will come, and then next part will start. Jnana, he will increase. That Jnana, what Guru gives, will make me feel Ishvara more real, more bhakti, clarity that will go inside through subconscious mind. If my mind is already done, then I don't think even Shravana, Manana, Nidhyasa is possible. So I
Okay.
think bhakti is the first thing that is important.
Yeah, sure. So you are trying to say is that through whatever yoga we take up, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, whichever it is, we can realize God. But usually, as because jnana yoga is something that we cannot take it up at the first. So through karma yoga, through bhakti yoga, we get that jnana yoga. So am I right, Pratibha ji?
Yeah, you have to first love something too. If you want something, you have to love something. Okay. If you love something, then you will have interest in that. Put something, For example, planting seed, and then growing the tree or something. You should love that. If you don't love it, then you will not take care of that later also. That passion, that thing, that love towards that is necessary. So love towards that is natural. To love towards myself is natural. That's why if somebody says, a boy says to a girl, I love you, actually the boy is loving himself. If I want some object, why do I want that object? Because I'm loving myself. So the self love is already there. So only thing is I have to understand, yeah, God alone is there. Okay, God is, take it as an ATM machine, still it is fine. Take God as ATM machine, it is still fine. At least you put that in first step of towards God, He will put 100 steps towards us. So that love that you show, later that bhakti, that kind of bhakti will get purified, and become more magnified because of Guru and his grace and his teachings. That Jnana will take to the Parabhakti. That's what I believe in.
Okay. Thank you, Pratibha ji.
Thank you, Shailashri.
Vani Vasu?
Self-evaluation.
Ah.
One second. Simplicity, clarity, fluency, focus, crispness, effective talk structure, originality. I think originality is not there because I literally took this from Guruji's talk of Bhagavad Gita's 13th chapter. So that is there. So effective talk structure. When Guruji has talked, I just copied him, so it should be little bit better in my explanation. So relative quotes from scriptures day to day. I don't know. Time management, Sharananji might be telling. Refer to the notes with
Yes. 7.5 minutes within 8.
Okay. And refer to the notes and if required. Yeah, I wanted to talk about Navdha Bhakti, and I actually had made one PPT also, but then I thought it's okay. I can just show it off. Where was that again? Voice modulation, eye contact. I think I was better than last time. I don't know. What do you say, Vaniji and Vasudev?
Yeah, I think the delivery was excellent. The way you started with noise, you said first they were making noise, so I had to stop them. And then from there you took the talk. So it got people interested in the beginning itself. It didn't start in a very conventional way. So that the way you started, even though probably the points were from Prabhuji's talk, but the order in which you introduced them and the way in which you introduced them, that was original. And it did catch the attention of the listeners. You drew them in right away to listening to you. So that was good. And your delivery style was confident. There was a lot of expressiveness when you were talking. So I would say the talk was very good, in fact. Structure of the talk was good. You brought in different aspects of Bhakti, Saguna, Nirguna, and everything. The only thing which could have been a little better is answering the questions could have been a little more precise. Probably. Not that the answers themselves were not right, but a little, taking a little less time, being a little more crisp and a little more precise. But the talk itself was super. It was very good.
Yeah. Okay. Vasuji.
Nice. So,
Vasuji. Okay.
Vasuji.
Okay. I thought both of them will talk.
No, I think Vani has covered all the things. Yeah, I was just wanting to just say that little more crispness in answering the questions will be good. Clarity is there in the understanding, so that is very nice. Like the start was excellent, like Vani observed, and most of us observed.
You're a natural speaker. You know how to put things to people and you know how to convey everything, where to put the impact, where to put the emphasis. All that comes out very well in the talk.
Yes.
It's only in answering the questions, there you need to focus on.
Yeah, I wanted to add some sentences, Navdha Bhakti and all, but I don't know the Sanskrit words. I thought I'll leave it.
No,
Okay.
I think it went very
Whatever
well.
you spoke was very good. The talk was good.
Just remember, we will not know what you left out.
Yeah, only
you will know.
And you need to manage the time also. No? So if you want to include everything, you can't manage time.
So
Yeah.
the
That's
very
why even the
fact that-
PPT I did not show. It will take a lot of time.
Correct. The fact that you adjusted your talk to manage the time is a plus point. Okay, so that you must give credit to yourself. Should not beat yourself that you missed out saying some points, because script must be dynamic in a talk. Even in a 1 hour talk, I'm sure Purnima talks in various forums, including meditation study circle. We leave out some points, we include some points on the fly, based on inspiration or
And
flow.
also what have the other people said or left unsaid.
So don't worry about changing the script on the fly. In fact, it is a plus point. I would give full credit to that in order to maintain.
The ability to discard a PowerPoint shows great vairagya.
Which I am very much attached to. I can't do without PowerPoint.
It was like a
so,
pretty good part of explanation. So it's like, okay, easy. Thank you very much.
So shall we move on then to the next speaker, which is Shravanji. Shravan is going to talk on, where is Shravan?
Hari Om, I'm here.
Yes. Okay, Shravan is going to talk on Kriya Yoga. Yes, the feast continues. Right.
Oh, wow. So today I made a presentation, so probably I'll go with the presentation, although I'm also not very comfortable with presentations, but I saw that today, make a presentation was some of the things that I wanted to check. Okay. So, give me a minute, I'll adjust this, otherwise this is... okay. So today, this topic of Kriya Yoga, to be honest, I did not know much about Kriya Yoga, so I had to really go and understand whatever little that I knew. Let's go to what is Kriya Yoga. Kri means action, and Ya means that, or what, the force, that life force. So a lot of people mistake Kriya Yoga as Karma Yoga. Both are similar, but the focus on Kriya Yoga is on prana. The focus is to know that everything that's happening is happening by the energy in consciousness, and whatever is moving, it is the energy. And whatever attains something, that's also the energy. So from that point of view, Kriya Yoga is the yoga in a sense. Yoga means combining of two becoming together, united. Normally, this question of Dvaita and Advaita and what gets united with others, here, although it's one single thing, the yoga's meaning comes out very clearly when you understand that it is the energy in consciousness which is there, that keeps changing, that projects itself, and finally unites with the Purusha again. So it is the Shakti which again unites with Shiva. So that is the essence of Kriya Yoga. And therefore, the whole focus on Kriya Yoga here is on the energy. So how is this different? Another way of saying is Karma Yoga, the aim of that is you do conscious action, knowing that this action is being done by the Prakriti, and you give up the ownership and understand everything as action of God, and you do that. Bhakti Yoga is you experience, there's a aim to have a conscious experience. And in Jnana Yoga, we consciously know, it's the knowledge of oneness. Whereas in Kriya Yoga, it is the use of life force. How energy in us is moving, how energy is living, understanding that is Kriya Yoga. So Prabhuji had put Kriya Yoga definition in another way. In Kriya Yoga, the life force is managed in such a way that the head, heart, and the body are perfectly working together. So what is being managed in this is how the energy is being managed. And the whole yoga here is to understand the flow of the energy and to balance all the aspects of a body of ourselves, which is the gross, subtle, and the mental, or head, heart, and the body, whichever way you look at. All that is happening through the energy is what is the realization here. So let's go to what is really the yoga of the life force. A lot of people, when they talk about Kriya Yoga, they begin with the fact that energy is not just breath. Breath is just shwasa. Prana is not just the breath, but prana is the very energy in us. Not only in us, the energy is all pervading. Just as consciousness is all pervading, there's energy in that consciousness, which is what is changing. And therefore, which is what is the agent of change. And therefore, consciousness appears to change. So it is the force within the consciousness, which is the life force, that being recognized in us, tuning it in such a way that it is in control of the breath. So through breath, controlling the life force properly, and to live in a way that we are in tune with ourselves, the real self. So that is the aim here, the conscious flow of breath. How is that attained? A lot of yogis say, but when you are actually doing Kriya Yoga, you are living consciously in the prana. Four things are happening. When your identification with the prana is complete, there is a quietening of the mind, which is what's called pratyahara. Then when you are looking at the self, there is a focus onto the self, and that's called dharana. So you have a clear conception of the self. Then whenever you are doing work, the perception of the self is very clear. That is, there is a dhyana. Now, this dhyana, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and finally the absorption in self, all these are happening not in meditation like what we have heard, somebody closing his eyes and doing, but when he is working. So those who are realized are actually doing Kriya Yoga. Gnani is actually doing Kriya Yoga every second, with every breath, in which all these four functions are happening automatically. But for a beginner, in order to understand this, the pranayama technique is given, and he is beginning to understand the inner energy flow. And through the inner energy flow, he'll quickly come to understand that his working is through 6 centers of Kundalini, which you all know. And from the lower essential centers, the idea is to move to the higher centers, which are more in tune with the self. And the final goal is the life force being in tune with Shiva, or merging in Shiva, which is the force at Sahasrara. So that's the aim of this Kriya Yoga. So who talked about Kriya Yoga first? It is very ancient one. Krishna talks about it in Bhagavad Gita, and with a very deep shloka, I think in 4th chapter. At the face of it, it looks very simple. It says, a yogi offers his in-breath to the out-breath and out-breath to the in-breath. And thereby, he gets control of the breath, and he regulates the prana and controls his breath. But there's a lot of deep meaning in it. The exhaling breath and the inhaling breath are like the decay of the body and the growth of the body. So when we are breathing, we are constantly breathing in energy, oxygen, and we are breathing out carbon dioxide, or we are constantly trying to arrest the decay of the body and constantly grow the body. But when you are doing it, you are not aware. But when you are aware of it, you are not knowing the purpose of why this is happening, why life is going on. So when you understand, a yogi understands his life, he understands this life as a happening in God. And whatever is happening in God is being sustained by God. And he is living in tune with God, as God. So this is what is the depth in this. Also in Bhagavad Gita, the sadhana which is given to attain this Kriya Yoga, where yogi having balanced his mind and focusing on the Agna Chakra, how he can attain the highest unity is also explained in another two shlokas, 5.27-28. So that is where this the beginning of Kriya Yoga was mentioned. But Patanjali had also mentioned about Kriya Yoga in his Sadhana Adhyaya. In fact, the entire sadhana of Patanjali is about this Kriya Yoga. It's not just about yoga, the Hatha Yoga or the Jnana Yoga. It is the complete, the yoga is completely talked about as tapas, swadhyaya, ishvara pranidhana. Tapas means austerity, that is a discipline of the body and mind, which is obtained through karma yoga. Swadhyaya is the self-knowledge, knowing of the self, which is obtained through Jnana Yoga. And Ishvara Pranidhana is being in tune with, surrendering to God and being tuned with the one that is, and that is equivalent to Bhakti Yoga. So the combining of these three is called Kriya Yoga. And this, of course, this today Kriya Yoga means everybody talks about Mahavatar Babaji because he had redefined this Kriya Yoga for practical purposes. But now let's go to what did Prabhuji teaches in Kriya Yoga. So Kriya Yoga is not about the Jnana or trying to understand this. The Tattva part of it is really very little because it cannot be explained like in other yogas. It has to be experienced because this is more not about transcendence. This is about more about immanence in the world. And in fact, while being immanent into the world, how you can be transcendentally immanent in the world. When you are immanent, unknowingly if you are immanent, you are living like what we are doing. But if you are aware and you are living in it, you are transcendently immanent into this. So the simple Kriya which Prabhuji had given is you sit in the posture and you even out your breath, and then you observe the prana going up and down the spine through the chakras, and this will purify the chakras. Now, this simple explanation has a lot of deep meaning. When we do it, we understand that there is an inner calm and there is an inner purification that's happening. But what is really happening is that the inner calm is because the breath is now getting involved into the mind, and the mind is now calming down to an extent where the inner intuition is coming up. And this is giving a clear perception of the self, which is Sakshi. So this Sakshi is what recognizes the reality called Brahman. So this is a very practical way of all that we have learned in other yogas, practically attaining it immediately and very fast method, but it needs a lot of guidance and practice when we are doing it. So this is what is Kriya Yoga. From my side, I don't know the time, but anyway.
Very profound, Shravanji. Thank you so much. Would you want to stop sharing your screen?
Yeah, I'm doing that. 1 minute.
Shall I do it for you?
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, done. Thanks.
Thank you. So does Anu have questions on this beautiful talk?
Shravananji can tell us the time also.
Yeah,
I
15 minutes.
1-5.
Wow. Yeah, it's completely immanent. Oh,
That was a very transcendental talk, Shravanji.
Transcendental.
You transcended time.
Oh, boy.
okay, transcended the time.
Okay,
Okay.
quick question answer then. Then we'll move on to the last dessert part of it. Yes.
I don't know because I got so engrossed in it and I lost my question.
Totally. All
And
of
there's
us
so
were.
much he covered. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Probably I'll open the forum for the audience if anyone has any specific question. Yeah, that would be great. Anyone specifically? I mean, Shravanji, you knew your subject. You did.
I know it.
Lost.
Totally.
On the other hand, I thought I knew very little about this. Actually, I felt guilty that all I have learned before was all theory. And Gnani's way of living can only be understood by trying to imitate Gnani or practice it. Although Guruji never says practice is not important, knowledge is important. There is a very thin line between understanding knowledge the way we understand and understanding it the way Gnani understands. And that needs sadhana. So that's what I have understood today.
So based on that same...
What I'm saying is I may not know all the answers in this topic because it's just new to me as it is for maybe some of you. Yeah. So whoever has actually done this more than me, probably they'll be able to tell answers. So please go ahead.
So how has your personal experiences been? Like you just mentioned, all these days it was different. And when you started adapting this or learning this, practicing this, what's your personal experience doing Kriya Yoga when Guruji started teaching in a methodical way?
I just talked about it. My personal experience is that the ego of I knew the tattva was shattered when you actually begin doing it. There is a large difference between knowing as in an atlas and knowing the terrain. So this is trying to know the terrain and not the atlas. So there is an intuition which is not like the knowledge intuition, but which is very difficult to explain, which is more by feeling, by understanding, and trying to put it in words later. So that's probably the experience.
Thank you.
Self-evaluation, if you wish, Shravanji.
Yeah, pretty bad in timing. And I couldn't fit in, practical anecdotes and all in this because I was overwhelmed by the subject. And although some references were there, to me, the knowledge itself was so overwhelmingly new. I thought I wanted to just share it more than the other things that are there in this. So maybe 50-50 from a top point of view.
What happened in the presentation though? We were waiting for the presentation to come. You didn't present it, right?
I was trying to interrupt him in the beginning.
Oh, sorry. I didn't present it.
You presented only one slide.
Just
No,
one
I think
slide.
it was the browser. There was the browser, but we didn't see the slides.
And we were tantalizingly, all the slides were shown at the bottom, but they never came up. As
I'll
the
send the presentation because actually I thought you were seeing the presentation. I was seeing. I didn't know what happened.
All right, never mind. Vaniji,
Yeah. I'll send you the presentation because that's I thought the whole learning was there in that. So okay. Okay. Okay, no problem.
So
I'll send you one.
very good talk, Shravanji. I think it came, yeah, it was well, but like you observed, the timing was went off, but you covered most practically whatever. In fact, Kriya Yoga is new to me, so I can't comment on what got covered, what got left out. And also, like the other observation, in the presentation, only one slide was projected through the session. It's a matter of probably
Maybe it was a mode of sharing
what.
If you had shared entire window or some other mode, you were probably changing the slides, but we could not see it changing. Was that how it was?
Yeah, I thought I selected the window, and in that time I went through the screen mode.
Okay.
So, and I could see, like in any other thing, I could see the Zoom window. So I didn't know that it was not being presented.
Oh,
Sorry.
no, it did get presented, but only the first slide got presented. It did not move ahead.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It did not move from one slide to another after the first. It got just stuck on slide number 1, which is the yoga posture and the six
Chakras
energy
Let
centers.
me just quickly see what went wrong. 1 minute, I can.
If you choose the entire screen, I think
since it is.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, I think in this he's giving. Oh, no.
Now it's going.
You should do that.
No, this is within that. This is something else. Sorry.
No, you're right. You should just click on the forward
Click on the arrow. Yeah.
Yeah.
The cursor had to be moved, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so you share it on the group, Shravanji. We'll move to the last.
Yeah, I'll share it later. Sorry.
Yeah. So Sheshadri ji, we are waiting for the dessert. Then we can close for the day. Sheshadri ji will talk on Dhyana Yoga. So that will be a good note to end with.
Namaste. Sarvananji, I will share my desktop first, set it up, then I'll say namaste, then please start the time. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we can see.
Okay. Okay. Sarvananji, you can start the time. Hari Om, namaste. A young handsome prince goes to a forest for hunting. He saw a wild horse. He wanted to take it home, so he took it to the palace. Now he needs to tame it first before he can ride on it. So it requires a lot of physical strength, patience, perseverance to tame a wild horse which wants freedom. So, but once it is tamed, a horse can walk, run, turn left or right, and it can also stand still. Similarly, an untrained mind is like an untrained horse. Bhagavan Sri Krishna has said in the Bhagavad Gita that Lokesmin Dvidha Nishta Pura Prokta Mayanagha Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. Krishna says, I have previously explained that the two paths that leads to enlightenment. First, follow the path of Karma Yoga to purify the mind. Then follow the path of Jnana Yoga to acquire the knowledge about the self. Then do Dhyana to get the enlightenment. Sri Krishna elaborated further on the aspects of Dhyana Yoga. First one is Dhyana Yogyata. So who is eligible for doing meditation? A sannyasi alone is eligible and will succeed in meditation. Who is a sannyasi? Not someone who has renounced the world or rituals, but one who has given up two things, fruits of action and sankalpa. What does it mean? Follow the path of karma yoga. One who performs karyam karma, the obligatory duties, the Panchamahayajnas, and anashrita karma phalam, without depending on the fruits of their action. So by doing karma yoga, one purifies the mind. Why do we need to purify? Because the mind can create trouble when we meditate. Now, the sankalpa. Why the sannyasi has to give up the sankalpa? As long as we see the world as a source of happiness, the mind will plan to gain those worldly objects. That planning is called kalpana. Planning, imagination, thinking. Samyak kalpana is sankalpa. So mind creates sankalpa in order to gain the happiness by gaining those desired worldly objects. So when there's a clear understanding that happiness is not in those worldly objects, mind does not do sankalpa, hence it becomes easier to withdraw the mind. The one who depends on the samsara for happiness is samsari. The one who depends on the inner self for happiness is a sannyasi. Then Krishna talks about bahiranga sadhanani, a general preparation that one has to do throughout the day for meditation. What is that? Eat moderately, not too much, not too less. Sleep moderately, not too little, not too much sleep. And Krishna says, be moderate in everything you do throughout the day. Another thing, Uddaret Atmana Atmanam. So lift yourself by yourself. What does that mean? Improve your mind through your intellect. Because the real problem is not the sense inputs, but the reaction to them. So either we negatively react or we can positively respond in all the situations. Earlier we can detect, earlier we can correct. So, and antaranga sadhanani. So the disciplines one has to follow just before doing the meditation. Sit straight, firm in a clean, solitary place. Withdraw the mind and senses from the worldly activities. Why? Because mind always busy in doing two things. Apraptasya prapanam, planning on how to get things done that I don't have it, and praptasya rakshanam, how to protect the thing that I already have. So we need to totally surrender to God without any desire either to process it or to preserve it. Then dhyana swarupam, the nature of the meditation and what one's supposed to do. So instead of identifying with the thoughts, be the witness to the thoughts. In order to witness the thought, there has to be distance between the witnessing principle, which is the consciousness, and the witnessing thoughts. This distance increases with the purity of the mind. So with an impure mind, it becomes difficult to witness. That's why we need a purity of the mind. And the false identification happens in the mind. That's why the disidentification also has to happen in the mind. So disidentify from what I'm not and identify myself with what I am. Withdraw the mind from anatma and fix the mind in atma. This is meditation. And dhyana phalam. What are the benefits of the meditation? So atyantikam sukham, infinite joy one will have, a total mastery of the mind, and experience absolute bliss even in the ups and downs of life. Jnana vijnana triptapna, become free from all kinds of confusion, delusions regarding the life, experience changeless truth in the changing world, become one with Brahman, and seeing self in all beings and all beings in the self. So this is a sport called polo vaulto. What the player does is he uses the pole, he runs, and he climbs up, kind of like uses the pole to go up to reach the desired height. He drops the pole, then he crosses over. Similarly, say for example, here in this case, the sports person says, oh, I need to drop the pole. Why would I use the pole? No. You have to use the pole to go up. Then only you can drop it. Similarly, we need to use the mind to reach the desired height then drop the mind and cross over. So first, make the extroverted mind an introverted mind, fill it with the Vedantic thoughts, drop the thoughts. I am Brahman, I am consciousness is also a thought. Let it not remain as a thought, but be consciousness, be conscious. When the thoughts stop, mind becomes silent. What remains is only the self. Experience the self, by the self, in the self. What is the nature of self? Ananda. So there is only bliss. To realize the true nature and be blissful. Namaste.
Thank you so much, Yeshadri. That was so beautiful. Wish we could have seen you as well. Yeah. All right. So self-evaluation, questions for him? Who is supposed to ask?
It's mine, but
Yeah.
I think it was very simple and clear.
Yes.
I was also wondering why and what, but I think Sheshadriji took it like step by step, and it was clear. It was nice. Yeah.
You want to go for evaluation, Sheshadri?
Yeah, sure. Simplicity, yes, it was simple. I thought so. Because honestly, last week when this topic was assigned, I didn't know Dhyana. What is like Dhyana Yoga? What is Dhyana Yoga? It is so silly of me that I didn't know that there is a chapter in Bhagavad Gita. I haven't studied Bhagavad Gita. I don't know anything about it, but with whatever I could understand from different videos, this is an understanding. I can't have a dynamic scripting. Really sorry. I need to if I plan on some structure, I need to go as per the structure, even if it is like someone else already mentioned it or told about it. I think time management, it looks like yellow. I think I'm safe. The rest, I will leave it to Vanaji and Osari. Thank you.
Yes.
Sheshadriji, very nicely done. Starting with the definition and step by step you took us. What is Dhyana Yogyata? Then what I liked a lot is that all day you have to prepare for meditation.
Yes.
That struck me forcibly. That all day long you have to follow disciplines externally and internally. Only then you get Dhyana Yogyata. So one by one, you took us through the steps and then ended quite brilliantly with the pole vault slide. So I think very good talk. Lots of quotes were also there. Yeah, thank you. Only we didn't see you. So that like Purnimaji said, that was one thing we missed. The video had been on.
In fact, he asked for a week's time to prepare. I said, no, all of us are ready. You can't do that. Poor thing. I forced his hand. So it's a short time. He has done a splendid job. I'm so proud of him.
He always does a splendid
Wonderful.
job.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think so expressive. So
Very
we
expressive.
would have loved to see him actually, his face during the expression. The voice was so very, very expressive.
Yes.
Already available.
Anyway, you covered it with ease, Sheshadriji.
Yes.
Yes.
Very kind of you. I think one thing I kind of noted myself, like there was no sankalpa that I had to do the good presentation because but I had to do a justice to the talk as a karma yoga.
I had my hand on the unmute button for about, 1.5 minutes, thinking maybe your slides were also not moving like Shravanji's. I mean, we could not see them move maybe or something. Then started coming, the first point came and yeah.
Very nice.
Good, very
So very good talks today actually.
Today was an absolute feast.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
If we had not recorded it, we would have missed all this.
True. Really, very nice.
Very good talk.
I mean, all the speakers were present.
Mm.
All the, Siddhantis, Purva Pakshis, except Satyavati ji, all were, I mean, it was such a beautiful, every aspect was covered. So nice,
Yes.
wonderful day. And both our Vani ji, Vasu ji, both were present. So that's also a treat.
No, it is a treat for us to listen to.
No, it's amazing. It's
such
been an amazing
wonderful,
session. Very inspiring speeches.
Yes.
Yes. Shall we close for the day?
Yeah. Sure.
Prayer. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Om Shanti 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 Nanu Nanimbudu Nanalla Ideha Manabuddhi Nanalla Satchidanandatma Shivananu Nane Shivoham 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 Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Hari Om, everyone.